Alright, what is up, fishing world? Trevor Wagner coming back at you again. It's Tackle Tip Tuesday. Time for me to share a little bit of what I know to help you catch more bass and get them in the boat or kayak or on the bank, basically wherever you're fishing. And so today I want to talk to you about craw style baits and what I do to a craw style bait, whether I add it to a jig or I just add it onto a Texas rig EWG hook. But what is it that I do to try to catch a few more bass? Now, when I do this, again, I'm trying to do everything I can to get an advantage. I'm trying to do everything I can to trick that little green fish with a little tiny brain to eat something that is not real. So to do that today, as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about adding a little sound. So I'm going to be talking about adding these itty bitty little baby rattles to my craws, and I'm going to show you how I add them based on if it's a jig, if I'm running a Texas rig, and where I place it in there, where I found the most success when I add these little rattles. Now you probably try to see if you guys can hear that little rattle. So again, when crawfish are down there, if you've never experienced or listened to somebody that's put a microphone down there by craws, they make a little clicking sound. So by adding this, I'm trying to hit on that bass's instinct to eat that craw. So I'm going to rig up a couple of these and I'm going to show you where I put them. So first up, we're going to talk about Texas rig. And, you know, this is one of my favorites that's out there. Reaction Innovations. This is the Sweet Beaver. This is the 4.2. This is in California craw. These are just, if you've never used Reaction Innovations in their stuff, this is a really, really good craw. I really like it. It's not too, there's not a whole lot of appendages, and if you need to take some off, you could take these little side ones off. I usually leave them on. Again, it's a nice beaver style craw bait, and it works really, really good, especially on a Texas rig. So I'm just going to hook this up real fast, and then I'll show you where I put the rattles on this guy. Boop. Run it up. Again, we don't have a line in the way. It makes it a whole lot easier to put it on here. Now, I know a lot of people measure to see where it is. I use these guys so much that I know exactly what rib to put it on to get it in there like that. And I like these because on these beaver style baits, if you notice, it's already got that channel in there where your hook just sits right there. This thing is just weedless and it is ready to go. All right, so when I'm adding rattles to my Texas rig craws, what I do is, you see there's not a lot of room down here, so I actually add the weight into the middle, into the meat of this guy. So I see where the hook point ends, so the hook point ends right about here, so I'm going to go up and I'm going to put right into this area right there. So to do it, most of the beads you get have a little fine point at the top, and then you just kind of stick it in. I'm going to go right in those rib areas, right where that hook point was at, where it ended. Then I'm just going to push this guy up in there. It works really good with these, but when you're using like the Z-Man, Elastec plastic, they actually have a tool and their own rattle system that you can get to add your rattles. I don't do a lot of Z-Man craw style stuff, so I don't worry about getting that tool, stuff like that. But now the rattles are added to it. Probably can't hear it because it's really, really subtle, but in the water, those bass will be able to hear it. So again, that's how I rig it for when I'm putting in some rattles on a craw on a Texas rig. All right, so now let's talk about a jig trailer. So I have a nice little War Eagle finesse jig right here. And so for this one, I'm going to use another one of my favorite craws, and that is the Chigger Craw from Power Bait. So again, Chigger Craw looks like a real craw. So this one really mimics a crawfish. So again, I'm going to put this guy on here. Oh, I know it doesn't matter, but if you look at your Chigger Craws, you might not be able to see, but they actually have little eyes right here. So always make sure that those eyes are facing up. Does it really matter? Probably not. It's just something that I do to, I don't know, confidence, I guess, is what I would say. So I'm going to go ahead, add my Chigger Craw onto here. Thread this guy on. All right, got my nice little Chigger Craw all set up now on my little finesse jig. And again, I kind of like using this finesse style. What finesse really means is there's not a lot of skirt material, and this skirt material really flares out, and I really like the way this works. And as you can see, it is a regular ball head jig head, and the hook is really sharp. Now, with another thing, because I'm using a finesse jig, this is a lighter wire hook. So just know that. So when you go to set the hook with a finesse jig, you don't have to set it as hard as you would with, a standard jig. Usually with these, I don't have to sit there and jack it like I would a frog. When they pick it up and bite it, I could just real quick pop it, and that's going to go straight in there, and you're not going to bend it out. Also, be careful when you're using heavy braid with a finesse style hook, because that'll actually take it out some more. All right, enough about that. Let's get back to putting in the rattles. So now with this, the difference between this and the Texas rig is I have this huge gap right here in an EWG hook, so therefore the rattles can fit right there. In a jig, you don't have that, because that hook is going straight through that body and coming around. So on this, for the rattles, if you want to add rattles to it, you actually put it in through the head, so therefore the rattles are up by the head area. And so the cool thing about the Chigger Craw is it actually has this little lip right here. I don't know if you guys could see it, but it's got that little lip right there, so I could actually just slide those rattles straight into the barrel of that head, right underneath where those eyeballs are. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rattles in real fast. All right, I pushed it all the way in. You can't even see any of that thing sticking out, but again, you could hear a little bit of that rattle. That's now sitting right here in the head of this bait. So that's how I add rattles. Again, if I'm using a jig, I'm typically putting that rattle into this extra part that's sticking out of your jig. And then again, if I'm Texas rigging it and I got an EWG, obviously I am putting it in between that hook side. So right there. And even if you're not using EWG and you're running a standard worm hook that's a little bit flatter, you could still put these style baits on there. I found my hookup ratio is not that good on cross style baits unless I'm running an EWG. That's just me. Some other people might have a better hookup ratio, but if I'm running a Texas rig creature bait or a cross style bait, I am definitely running with EWG, and I have the rattles right there ready to go. So now they're ready to go, and I can put them in the water, fish them, everything's great. But there's one more sneaky little trick that I like to do, and that is, if you watch a couple of my other tips or tricks, or you see me out on the water, sometimes I like to add scent to my baits as well. Now, this chigger craw from Power Bait, if you guys never opened up one of these bags before, these things already got scent. You ain't got to worry about adding anything else to any of this Power Bait stuff. It's really good. And even the Max Scent stuff that's out there, if you got Max Scent or Power Bait, or you're running some other soft plastics that have scent to it, you don't need to add scent because it's already got scent in it. And again, this one is ready to go. Now, the Reaction Innovation smells like plastic. It doesn't have any scent added to it, so that's when I reach for my trusty little bait fuel, and I would coat this thing with some bait fuel before I tossed it out there just to add scent as well. So now they have a nice little presentation to see. They can hear the rattles and they can actually smell it. Now I know most bass are more sight hunters and lateral line feelers, but to me the scent is a confidence thing, and it's that last little measure that I do. So when they pick this up, maybe their taste buds and their scent's like, ooh, this tastes pretty good. And then by that time it gives me, maybe even if it's just a fraction of a second, to feel them pick this up and have it in their mouth just a little bit longer, putting on that scent. That's all. Then I'm better off for it. My confidence goes up. So again, all right guys, that's it for Tackle Tip Tuesday this week. Adding a little rattles to your creature style baits, to your craw style baits, whether you're running them as a jig trailer or you're running them Texas rig style. Just something that you could do to add a little bit extra to get more bass into the boat. All right guys, thank you guys for watching. Comment down below, do you ever add rattles to your baits, to your soft plastics that you're throwing? If you do, let me know down below. If you've never used rattles before, maybe you could give it a shot. You never know. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hamper the action of the bait, but it does give you an extra little element to help you catch more bass. All right, guys. Again, thank you for watching. And until next Tackle Tip Tuesday, get out and fish and catch some bass. All right, guys. Have a wonderful week.